Why would we bother prepping for a hurricane that's making landfall over 150 miles away from us? We live in Central Texas and we're nowhere near the coastline, but here's what we're doing and why we are preparing for everything that Hurricane Beryl is going to throw up the center of the state. I know whiteboards are like the thing, and we have them, but we also forget them. So today, Everett was like, Mom, is this our list? So this is everything we're gonna do today. And honestly, because it's so hot, it's gonna take all day. Hello, beautiful girl. We feel the exact same way. It is a hot day. I'm glad to see you relaxing. I know you'll get up later, but it is hot, and you are a big girl. In case you wondered how hot it is when it's the day before a hurricane starts making landfall, it's pretty hot. Kids are gonna take a break real quick. They're gonna go have popsicles and sit in the AC. I'm gonna get started on the property work. So what we're trying to do is secure our belongings from becoming projectiles. That might sound a little bit strange if you're not used to high winds. We aren't used to high winds on a daily. So all of this stuff is scattered. Why does it always happen? As soon as I sit down, Bo is like right behind me with the tractor. But that's actually why we need to do a bunch of the property clear up, like picking up buckets and toys and tables and things that we've used daily, because he needs to get in here with the tractor. We're doing something really cool, something that I am like, my mission in life at the moment is to help drought proof our property. And I talked about Goldie and the fescue toxicity that she's experiencing. This is not going to change it, but something that Suzanne at Stockholders Exchange was talking about to help when you have this fescue issue with your animals is you really can't just like stomp it out. She said this phrase and it was so beautiful. She was like, it's really difficult. You can't just like force the fescue to obey. Wow, that's such a great picture. And I think it's something that we assume because we are people and nature is nature, that we have, although we do have authority over nature, we don't have all the like tools to make nature obey. And so really this is a symbiotic relationship that we're working with the earth, with the soil, with the problems that will become solutions. Let's say we had sheep or goats, they could help to tame that, right? But we have cows, and our cows are our priority. And because of that, we've got to figure out a way to work with her. So something that Suzanne was saying is go ahead and start to, she said, like inching along the mile, right? We're not taking huge strides. We're not going to see things overnight. But over time, what we're going to see is if we give the opportunity for other growth to happen, then the fescue will eventually not have the room to thrive. So it doesn't mean we're going to annihilate it or take it out altogether, but it does mean we're going to provide less opportunity for it to thrive. Hello.
My touch.
Oh man, are you going to be okay?
I pull my touch. I pull my thing. I do shimmy.
Yeah.
Pull my hands in.
Hold your hands. So we're expecting anywhere from 1 to 6 inches, but as this storm is shifting, what we notice is that we could get, instead of the dirty side of the hurricane, we could get the weak side, and that would be a much gentler rain for us. If we can take our tall grass and we can chop it down, which is what Bo's doing with the tractor right now.
All right, so one of the spots that I know that we need to cut down is all of this over here. Very, very tall, woody weeds.
We give the opportunity to use a natural mulch on a very broad scale. 7 acres is a lot of space, and using our grass, chopping it down, and then laying it ground is like a natural mulch. I know that sounds oversimplifying, and it really is oversimplifying it, but it is the small step that you can do when you are managing property and your desire is to steward it well. Just knowing when the rain is going to come helps you prepare using what you already have. So if you didn't have a tractor, you could use a lawnmower. If you didn't have a lawnmower, you could use a weed eater. And all we're doing is that chop and drop method that you might use in your garden to take down the foliage that's there already. A lot of ours is already, at a seed head, or it's overgrown, or we have woody weeds. and we're going to take that down, use it as the mulch, and when the rain comes, at the very least, that's going to help sequester moisture in the topsoil, and we need that so desperately here. The porch is nearly done. We'll have some little things to do, but all in all, we've got the big pieces out of the way, but I hear the tractor has stopped, and I'm gonna go ask Bo why. It's not a good sign when you're on the tractor and you get off and start coiling.
Drip line.
What happened?
The tractor overheated about maybe 2 weeks ago, like in the red overheat, and the engine was
Shut
boiling.
down?
No, it didn't shut down, but it was boiling. Like I saw the thing and it was just boiling. This is the first day that I've tried to like work it more than, 10 minutes to move something heavy. Mm-hmm. And it didn't get to like the overheating, but it quickly rose faster. So it might just need some like cool it, but we don't have that today. It's a Sunday and we don't have the time to do that. So we can hand mow some things.
This is the immediate mess by the house. Just all the things that we played with and then left out and need to address. So if you're like us and your mess is what you live in, don't worry about it. You're in good company. This girl is doing all that she can to make it through this fescue summer. She's actually looking okay. She's got a little bit of gunk in the eye and we're addressing that, but she is making it through. It's a hot day, y'all, and when you're just like hundreds and hundreds of pounds. If you have been here for any amount of time, then you know we came to Central Texas from Houston. Houston is well known for her hurricane activity. I can remember my siblings living there when Hurricane Katrina came through Louisiana, and that was like the first time that hurricanes were on our radar. So we have been storm prepping for a really, really long time. Well, let's start here. Some of the things we face storm prep wise out here is the projectiles into the house, into the animals, fences going down, animals getting out, electricity outage, water outage. Oh, was that so good, Goldie? She just came up like a hippopotamus. Power outages, water outages. We have a lot of things that we can do here to be prepared for when that happens. However, in the immediate threat of a storm, we get to work like we're doing today. But you might be watching from the city, and city prep looks really different. In the city, we were preparing for power outages, and in those cases, we might be out for weeks, and we really don't know how long a down power line in rural Texas would take to repair compared to the city. Could be a lot longer, or it could be shorter because there's fewer of them to service. So in the city, it looked like we fill our bathtub up with water before a storm comes. It looks like us cooking a lot of the things in the fridge because when the power goes out, not only are you like stuck without power at your house, but usually the whole city is. So you can't just run out and get a pizza if the city is not flooded as well. We have had so much experience with flooding in our neighborhoods. Our most recent experience was in 2017 when Hurricane Harvey came through, and from block to block in the city of Katy, you would see entire houses gutted and flooded. For a whole month's time, the city was trying to clean up all the things that people had to bring out of their houses. We were going from house to house, not just one friend, but house to house for weeks, mucking out and like cutting up drywall. So I don't make light of a hurricane, but it is one of those things that until you're in one, you are laughing at your hurricane experience. You're just like, oh, that little hurricane when we had a storm and we played in the pool all day, or like you sit on your porch and you drink beer. Like, these aren't just cliches. These are cliche for a reason because we really do that. We really do plan on not going into work and hanging out throughout a hurricane until the big scary ones hit. Bo's gonna share some footage. I usually will chat through a video, but Bo is the editor. He's a video professional. He has been doing this for, almost 20 years now of creating and producing film. So when we went through Hurricane Harvey, he went out onto the streets after the storm passed and took some video, and there were things that like just convicted our hearts that preparedness is so important. There are layers and layers of biblical preparedness that we could talk on in a whole different video about keeping your lamps ready, about having your oil ready, about being on watch for when Christ returns. And those are very important things to me. But the metaphor of that doesn't miss me when I go to look at how we prepare our property. Because after Hurricane Harvey, we saw the streets full of people who were not prepared. There were so many parts to this story that are both desperate and redeeming. And one of the desperate things was the day after the storm, Bo went out toward our local H-E-B, our grocery store, and he just saw blocks, I mean, at least once around an entire city block of people circling just to get water, just to get bread. And those things convicted my heart that cooking from scratch, that having skills that bless your family and your community are so important to sharpen and to really refine, because in an emergency, you will resort to your lowest level of skill. And if your lowest level of skill, the place where you are weakest, is pressed, then you will panic and you will not bake bread, and you will have storehouses full of rice and beans and no skill to start a fire and cook over hot water. And that was apparent to me, that it's so important in times that are good to be ready for times that are not good, to be prepared for when things go awry, because we've all been given gifts and we've all been given talents to use to honor the Lord and to serve other people. And this is one of those times that you don't have to have a farm in order to serve and love other people well. You can serve and do that well right where you're at, but how can you do it to the best of your abilities? If you're not in the path of the storm, now is the time to get ready and sharpen that to serve others wherever you're at. Oh, this one has a little crack. And that brings me to the point of food storage. We're gonna do an entire video on food storage coming up pretty soon. But I think a lot of people believe that they're ready. If you are in the city, build a bug out bag. This is something that we did from like 2015 maybe, and on, where we had these bags that in case a hurricane happened, I mean, there are always hurricanes coming up the Gulf. So we had a bag that had like 2 pairs of clothes in it. It had a bunch of like bars in it, no water, but we had life straws, where if we had to, worst case scenario, drink out of a dirty stream, we could do that. Was the likelihood of us needing to drink out of a dirty stream very strong? No. So we had this urgency to pack up our house with everything that we would need for the next 3 or 4 days, right? It could get us out of the city into Austin. A huge reason we didn't leave was because, one, we had a very small baby. She might have been less than 3 months old at that time. And getting out in the storm was so unpredictable. We didn't know which way to go, even if roads were passable. So that was like an impossibility. But the military, and I kid you not, the military trucks were coming into neighborhoods as we had personal friends taking their like Sea-Doos and their jet skis into neighborhoods to help get people out of their homes. Back to the bags. We had bags packed with snacks, with small activities for our kids to do in case like we were stuck in some waiting room somewhere. Clothes to wear, obviously, diapers for the baby, life straws in case we needed to get water from a puddle. We had all of the essential things that we would need, and that being prepared helped ease the stress of being in the midst of a storm you can't control. It is very, very hot, so we have come in. Not only have we set up the window unit, which we only bring out in the summer because it's so hot, but this will be something that we plug in now, charge it up all the way, and then in the event that this power goes out for however long, what is our plan?
If the power goes out fast, then we'll charge devices with it. We might run the air conditioner off of it. We have an air conditioner running.
That's great.
Now, if it goes out for a long time, then we'll need to charge it off of solar. And probably, like if we're out more than probably 3 or 4 hours, probably what we'll do is I'll take this window unit, put it in the studio, and then run this guy off of like in the studio. It's a smaller space,
Yeah.
so it'll be way easier to cool down. And we'll probably, there's lots of plugs. We'll probably put our big Home Depot box fan, like our industrial box fan in there to get some air circulation. And we'll just convert everything into the studio, and also using this to keep our refrigerator and our freezers. The boys and I are gonna go run hoses, which doesn't make sense because we have this awesome water line going to the back. But we're gonna go ahead and drain our rain tanks because they're full. And if the rain tanks are full, then they're just gonna do the overflow, and the overflow is gonna go here on the front of the property and not to the back. Yes, long-term vision, I would like to be able to have the overflow running pipes to the back of the property so that it overflows back to the pond. That's not happening yet. Where our property is like this is the pond. This other side is the front of the property. So it slopes in two directions. We want the water to go to the back, to the pond. Here, do you want gloves?
No.
All right.
There's spider webs on it.
Okay, you gotta there you go. Go ahead and turn it on. There we go. This is hot. I asked you if you wanted the gloves. Oh, there's another one. Oh, that's gonna be so easy, y'all. All right, here we go. Okay, right here. Ooh, that's hot water.
No, you're a young kid and
All right, there we go. Gonna go ahead and turn that on. So if you ever have a thread that's stuck and you can't get it, sometimes you need to tighten it first. Yep, that time it worked. You need to tighten it first in order to loosen it. Off. Turn this on. All right, that's working. All right, let's turn it back on.
Wow. Look at her taking a bath.
Go chase him. Okay. Ollie, you gotta hurry. Oh!
Can I not go outside?
It kind of creates like a little, look, it's like a little water feature.
That's been here lately.
No.
And then there's wild dogs.
Yep.
And see it?
Did you just say you wonder what vultures would taste like?
We have made it. We have storm-proofed the property and then stormed the Dairy Queen. And everyone is pretty happy with all their blizzards and ice cream choices. Babe, do you think it was worth
They
the
worked
Dairy
hard.
Queen price
They
tag?
worked very hard.
So thanks for being with us as we learn on the homestead and do all these new kind of projects. Especially, I hear you, especially this year as we're working to drought proof our property. And thanks to all our patrons. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Anywhere we go is where I long to roam night or day. I'm taking you all the way, 'cause my heart's screaming.